We're going to talk about 20 ways to find a deal this week. This week, as in the week of October 10th. 20 ways to find a deal this week. Question: do we need a deal this week? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, I've got one
Yes.
person nodding their head, one person
Yes.
saying yes.
Yes, 100%.
Yes.
I saw Melinda
Every
nodding her
day.
head. So okay, great.
Yes.
Great.
With
See,
urgency.
now let me, yes, with urgency, Denise. See, I don't know if some of you know this or not. If you don't have your camera on, I can't tell if you're shaking your head yes or not. Okay. So, I sure some of you.
Camera on.
Okay, I see you, Tess. I see you, Tess. Good job. All right, good stuff. Okay, so we need a deal this week. And as Denise said, with urgency, because I need you to write down Friday, October 14th. Could be the last day of the year that you can sign a listing and get it closed by the end of the year. This Friday. Remember, I talked about this a few weeks ago. I said circle October 14th. Now, here's why. Well, Robert, it's October. Why are we talking about closing by the end of the year? I asked this question in the morning. When you sign a listing contract, does it typically go on the market tomorrow?
No.
No, it doesn't. Because usually they have to clean up the house. You have to get a photographer or something like that. It's usually about a 1 to 2 week process. Does that sound about right? On average, some are longer, some might be quicker. So let's say it's 2 weeks. So if you sign a listing agreement Friday, the 14th, that means it goes on the market Friday, the 28th of October. Would you say the average time on market right now is 30 days? Is that reasonable? For some of your markets, it might be more, it might be less. Okay, Yulin says 30, see Tess, 30. For some of you, if it's more, then you got real urgency because you might need to get a listing today. But if it might be less, might be less. But let's say it's 30 days. So if it goes live on the market October 28th, that means it goes into escrow 30 days later, November 28th. Is it fair to assume that most escrow periods are 30 days? Is that about typical 30-day escrows? Tess says yes. I see Donna. I see a couple people saying yes. Chat box, thank you. So 30 days means that puts you at December 28th to close escrow. Now you might be thinking, Robert, the 28th, I still got a couple more days. Is it fair to assume that because of the holidays, things might be a little bit slower in December? Okay. So that means really the 28th, you're giving yourself a couple day buffer because the last working day is Friday the 30th. So my point in all this is, as Denise said, urgency. Get your leads, and we need to set appointments now, this week. If you want a paycheck at the end of the year, it's now. It's create that urgency. Let's figure out what's on people's minds. We're going to talk about that here in a second. All right, so we're going to go over 20 ways to find a deal. But here's what I want to do. I want to have a little bit of fun. For me, this is not going to be fun for you. So let's have some fun. I would like, give me a city that you work. Somebody give me a city.
Long Beach.
Long Beach. Okay. Melinda, is it fair to assume that you would go within 5 miles of 2 miles of Long Beach?
I would say 1.
Yeah, Melinda's a little bit tougher on this.
Yes.
Yeah, I confused her on 2.
Well,
So
Long Beach is huge. So
Okay, so let's just say within 1 mile of Long Beach. Let's go 2 miles of Long Beach. In the last 7 days, there were 15 properties that went active or coming soon. So last week, 15 new listings hit the market, coming soon or active in Long Beach. So here's my question. Now I'm going to say this to Melinda, and I know Savannah said Long Beach as well. And I'm going to do this for other people. I'm going to let you name a couple cities. If you go to results, these are the 15 homes that got listed last week. My question is, Did you talk to any of these people?
No.
Okay.
Oh, wait, maybe. None of those are my listings. But I should have one in there.
We have a bigger problem. Melinda's missing a listing.
I'm like, where's my listing?
So there's 15 listings in the city of Long Beach.
Do me a
Okay?
favor and go to do 5 miles out.
5 miles out. Sure, we could do that. 5 miles within Long Beach, California. 40 listings that hit the market last week. So my question again, I'm going to do this for everyone because the question comes up as, okay, Robert, you're going to go over 20 ways to find a deal this week. What if there's no deals to be had? Well, let's look. 40 listings, 5 miles of Long Beach. Here's the question everyone needs to ask themselves. Go in and look at your marketplace, find out how many listings went live last week, and then ask yourself, did I talk to all of these people? If you didn't, then what do you think the problem is in getting listings, why you're not getting listings? What do you think? What do you think I'm going to say?
Talk to more people.
That's it. If you work 5 mile radius of Long Beach and you look and there's 40 listings that hit the market last week and you go through that list and say, wow, I never spoke to any of those owners, then you're simply not talking to enough people because people are listing in your area.
But now I have to know, now you have to go to the next page.
Why do I have to go to the next page?
She wants to see herself.
Oh,
I'm trying to find my listing.
Good God. I'm running a class here, Elmer. I've got
I
things
still want
to
to know why it's
do.
not in there. I'll
Figure
figure
your
it out.
stuff out later. So if you didn't talk to any of these people, then the thought is you need to talk to more people because people are listening in your marketplace. You're not talking to them. Now, if you did talk to these people and it's like, God, I talked to 84 Rivo Alto Canal. I didn't know they were listing, or they said they weren't ready to list. Then it comes down to more of a asking question issue, listening issue, presentation issue. Okay, so let's go back to this. So we did Long Beach. Give me another area. Nobody wants to play anymore.
West Covina.
Nobody wants. All right, Tess, it's 5 miles realistic, is 10 miles, 3 miles?
5.
5. Okay, 5 miles. 5 miles West Covina, also 40. So 40 properties within a 5 mile radius of West Covina last week went live on the MLS. So again, the question to ask ourselves here is, okay, well, here's the list. There's 40 of them. Did I talk to all these people? Did I talk to the owner at 1320 Pepper Way? Did I talk to 318 East Italia Street? Did I door knock this house? Did I prospect this house? Did I leave him a message? Did I have a conversation with anybody?
No.
And again, if you didn't, then you simply need to talk to more people because you're just not hitting the people that are listing. If you are talking to these people, then again, it comes down to is, well, what did I miss? What didn't I hear? What question didn't I ask? Did I hang up too soon? Did they give me a clue and I didn't catch it? Was I not providing energy? The reason I'm showing this is just from a mindset perspective is to say, you know what? We're going to talk about 20 ways to find a deal. And there are deals going on within radiuses of where we work. We just either need to talk to more people to get in front of the people that are listing, or we need to work on our energy, our enthusiasm, our listening, our question asking, because maybe we talked to these people, but they told us they weren't going to list for 6 months, and now here they are on the market today. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I would challenge everybody to do is this exercise is go into your marketplace and look at the properties that listed and be reasonable on your radius. Okay. Because some people fought within 5 miles. Some people it's 1 or 2. Some people it's 10. Some people it's 25. There's no wrong answer there. Okay. But you got to identify, am I talking to the right people or not? So now that we've established, now that's a great exercise I think you could do all the time. If you're like, gosh, Robert, I'm not finding the listings. Well, let's look at the properties that did list. Did you talk to any of these people? Okay. It just might be a conversation piece. Now, the other problem that this could account to is, let's say that you might be searching too big of a radius. So if you're saying, well, I'm prospecting 10 different areas, I'm prospecting 20 miles. Well, maybe you're not getting to all the people in enough time. So you might have talked to somebody, 20 miles away. By the time you got back to them, it was 2 or 3 months later, they already made a decision. So maybe for some of you, you need to shorten the radius. So I wanted to show that off first. So now let's jump into this. 20 ways to find a deal this week. 20 ways to find a deal this week. Do you think I'm going to say anything you haven't heard before? Probably not. Okay. Now, maybe there's something we're like, oh, that's a good idea, but probably not. But we're going to talk about each of these ways and then an action step, at least one action step to go after them. So here, let's jump into it. Number 1, 20 ways to find a deal this week. Number 1, aggressive lead follow-up. Aggressive lead follow-up. For a lot of you, the deal this week, you already have on your lead list. It's already there. But if you don't do aggressive lead follow-up, it's not going to turn into anything. So the first thing that I would recommend everybody do is turn off your Mojo, turn off your dialer, turn off the farm area, turn off the internet, turn off all that stuff. Take the 3x5 cards or take the lead board or go into your CRM and say, hey, I got 5 leads right here. It's go time. One of these 5 people is going to turn into a deal this week, buyer or seller, because I'm going to call, I'm going to text, I'm going to email, I'm going to get a plane, goes over their house with the banner. Mr. Smith, I've been trying to get a hold of you. It's a window of opportunity. Call me. Aggressively follow up. You're a deal for a lot of you. You already have it. You're just incubating it. All right. Aggressive lead follow up. Now here's aggressive lead follow up. Here's what I want you to write down. You have 1 week to move that lead forward. You have 1 week. Here's what I mean. Go to your lead board and say, all right, what is this lead? Well, this is Mr. and Mrs. Smith. They said they were interested in potentially selling their house. Okay, great. The next step then is to set an appointment. They don't have to sign the contract yet. You don't even have to go on the appointment, but the next step is to set an appointment. Therefore, you have 1 week to get an appointment set. If in 1 week you don't get the appointment set, that lead falls off the lead board. You got to move them forward at least 1 step. Buyer, seller, doesn't matter. Okay? Aggressive lead follow-up. All right, number two, I wrote down on the list. Number 2, I wrote down on the list. Past clients. Past clients, centers of influence. Number 2, past client, center of influence. So 1, call them. That's great. Big fan. 2, figure out what's on their mind. What questions do they have? It's not just about the stats. Call your past client, call your centers of influence, and just have a conversation. Casual conversation. Oh, everything's going good. Great, great, great. Hey, look, there's obviously been a lot of changes in the marketplace. I'm sure you've heard with interest rates, prices, things like that. Any questions you have? I'm sure you've read something. I just want to make sure you're getting the right information. What can I help out with? Casual conversation. Because there are people in your database, your past client centers of influence, that are thinking today about buying or selling, but a question is lingering in their head. Yes or no? Is there anyone in your database that is thinking about buying or selling, but a question is in their head? If now's a good time. Marty Sella says yes. Tess says yes. Okay. The others of you are somewhere else. Got it. Okay.
Writing my notes, Robert.
I
Writing
know,
my notes.
I'm just having fun. They have it. There's somebody there in your database that's thinking about buying or selling, but they have a question. And our job is to call them this week and figure out what that question is and then answer it and create some sort of urgency based on what they're thinking. Because if we don't answer their question, then their question is being answered by the internet. Now, let me ask you something. If the internet is answering your client's questions, is that going to lead to more deals for you?
No.
No.
No. So call your database this week and simply have a conversation of figuring out what is on your mind. Let me be the one that gives you the correct information. Make sense? Okay, great. Past client centers of influence. Number 3, I wrote down you can host an open house. You can host an open house. I don't have any listings. That's fine. Call an agent who does. I know a number of agents that don't want to host open houses for a variety of reasons. I wasn't going to say it.
Is it, Robert, is it allowed to do an open house with a different company?
Yes, yes.
Here.
Great question, Tess. So I know Cindy went over that last week, or not last week, a few weeks ago. The CAR is kind of frowning upon that, on doing open houses for other agents, but it's not illegal or unethical or anything like that. Here's what you need to do. You just need to make sure that everyone understands what's going on. So you call someone from another open house. What is the deal with the leads? Are all the leads 100% mine, or is there a referral fee for me hosting your open house? Can I use my signs? Am I using your signs? Do I need to use your flyers? Can I make my own flyers? You just need a communication to verify who's in charge of what and how is it being marketed and done, things like that. The issue that runs into is that we host an open house for ABC Realty Company, and then we print out a sign, or we print out our own flyers. Okay, it doesn't show us as a listing agent, but we create our own flyers, and then ABC Realty Company goes, "Why the hell aren't you using my flyers?" And it's because there was no dialogue. So just have dialogue. But host an open house. Do an open house during the week. Will you get a lot of people? Maybe, maybe not. But I'm looking for one deal. And if one person comes to an open house, I have a chance for one deal. So host an open house, be in front of the people. Now, if you're hosting an open house, you should probably also do what?
Call.
Call or door knock the surrounding area, right?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, it's Robert Hertel, Century 21 Masters. I just want to let you know I'm hosting an open house down the street, 123 Main Street. Just wanted to know, is there anyone that I should be calling to invite to that open house? Well, tell me a little bit about the listing. Well, it's 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. It's listed for $650,000. Do you know someone who would like to move into the area? Or better yet, would you like to buy it and have a renter in the area so you always know what's going on? Does anyone ask that question to people? No.
Yeah.
Is it possible that someone in the area also wants to buy it and rent it out?
Yes.
We're digging. We're digging. Come on, baby. Let's go. We're digging. Don't stop at 1. Okay. Do an open house. Number 4, I wrote down contact absentee owners. Absentee owners, a great way to find a deal this week. Great way to find a deal this week. Now that includes for rent by owners, any absentee owners, out of state, in state, I don't care. Okay, we get too complicated with this. Well, I've got my list of out of state absentee owners and in-state absentee owners, and these are for rent by owners. And stop. Let's get a list of absentee owners. I don't care where they live.
I have a question, Robert.
Yes, Vanessa.
For those for rent by owners, where's the best place to find those?
Typically, I mean, for rent by owners, you could go to a place like Zillow and go to Homes for Rent. Sometimes they'll have the property manager, sometimes it'll be an agent,
Yes,
sometimes
I've
it's
gotten the agents many of times.
yeah,
so.
sometimes it's an actual seller, or either that or you got to purchase it through a company like Arch, RedX, Vulcan, something like that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. But get a list of those people, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because I spent a lot of time the last couple of weeks on absentee owners. But basically, it's this: do you want to sell to cash out on this market that's changing? Do you know that? I don't know if you all saw this in California, the whole COVID thing where they didn't have to pay rent. They have until August of next year to pay the rent. Do you think some landlords are just fed up and say, I'm done? I'm sick of this crap. I don't want to wait till August to get my money while my price goes down. My home value goes down and I can't get paid until August. This is fun. They might want to sell, number one. Number two, if they don't want to sell, maybe they'll exchange. You got one unit right now. Let's get you 2, 3, or 4. No, you don't like that idea. How about buying another investment property? Let's add to your portfolio. Oh, you don't like that idea? What about your primary residence? What about your other investments? Absentee owners, I got 4 chances to find a deal this week. Let's get after those. Number 5, I wrote down NODs, notice of defaults. Notice of defaults. Are there a lot of delinquent mortgages in the marketplace right now? Yes or no? Now, every time you call a notice of default, what are they going to say? What's a default? What's a notice of default going to say?
We already fixed the problem.
Well, we're working with the bank, right?
Yeah, we're working.
We're working with the bank. So here's the key to notice of defaults. You're the backup plan. You're the backup plan. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I'm sure you're already trying to work it out with the bank, right? Yes. Okay. Here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to meet with you for 15 minutes so you have a backup plan. Can I explain why? Yes. Hopefully the bank works it out. But in the event that the bank decides not to work it out with you, they could enter the foreclosure process relatively quickly. What I would like to do is meet with you to at least come to terms on price, commission, things like that. That way, if the bank decides not to work with you, we're on the market right away. So the bank doesn't have time to foreclose on you. Best case scenario, the bank works out with you. You call me, you say, we worked it out. Boom, we're done. Okay. I'm the backup plan. Does that make sense? Does everyone kind of understand what I just did there? Because they're all going to say, I'm trying to work it out with the bank. I'm working it out with the bank. I'm working it out with the bank. So if we go in with the, hey, when are you going to interview agents? Hey, when are you going to do this? I'm working on the bank. That's fine. I want to be your contingency plan. But if we meet now and the bank says tomorrow we're not working out, no problem. You already met with me. We're on the market before the bank can foreclose on you. But if you don't, and then you start interviewing agents, it's a 2 or 3 week process. You might be out of the house. Just let me be your backup. NODs. I wrote down here number 6 for sale by owners. Okay. Now here's the plan of action for sale by owners. Is it tough? Realistically, let's be honest here. Is it tougher right now to get a listing sold? You're a real estate agent. Is it tougher right now to get a listing sold? Yes or no? Okay. Mr. or Mrs. for sale by owner. The days on market has doubled for active listing agents in your marketplace. What chance do you think you have as a for sale by owner? The best agents, the ones with all the clients, all the listings, all the buyers, all the deals, all the experience, all the knowledge, their days on market has doubled. Their home selling above list price has come down dramatically. What chance do you have as a for sale by owner if they're going through that? Can I be honest with you, Mr. and Mrs. for sale by owner? Yeah, you missed the boat. In 2020 and 2021, that was your opportunity. That was your opportunity to sell it yourself. You missed the boat. You need an agent today. Otherwise, you're going to have an investor come in here and try to negotiate for $50,000 below the list price. Is that what you want? No. Great. Sign a contract. You got to just be direct with them. You missed the boat. It's over. Your window is over. The best agents are having double days on market. They're doing price reductions. You missed the boat. But what you can do is still get the most amount of money possible. You missed the for sale by owner boat, but that doesn't mean you can't still win. But if you keep trying to sell it yourself, all you're going to get is investors who are they're either going to cut their offer price, or they're going to promise you a high offer. And then what are they going to do? Then what are they going to do? They're going to open up escrow. And then what are they going to do to a for sale by owner?
Grind them.
They're going to grind them. The inspection report comes in. Oh, the inspector says it's $50,000 for question repairs, 50 grand. Otherwise I'm backing out. Do you want that? No. You're paying me 2.5% on $700,000. You're paying me 20 grand. You can pay me 20 grand, or you can get grinded for 50 grand by an investor. Hello. But you need to be able to have the confidence to have that kind of direct conversation with for sale by owner. Because no one else is having that conversation. Oh, I know you're selling yourself, but you should list with me. I'm the best agent in town. Haven't you seen my social media? It says #1 agent. Haven't you seen my email signature? I was President's Club in 2003. You got a list with me. Be the one that has that direct, honest conversation with them. All right, here we go. I wrote down 7 expireds. Expireds. Right? But again, you got to know what to say and how to say it. Here's the key on the expireds. Mr. Expired, it's not the market. Because when we ask them, why didn't the home sell? What is typically going to be their answer?
It's the agent.
The agent or the market changed, right? Oh, the agent said the market changed. Or the agent was crappy. If the agent was crappy, then great, we have it. Good. Well, then why don't you interview a good agent this time? Okay. But if it's the market, well, the market changed. No, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, do you know that 40 homes just went active in a 5-mile radius of West Covina last week? Do you know however many closed? Mr. and Mrs. Seller, your home was on the market for how many days? 90 days. Did you know that in a 5-mile radius of your house, 145 homes closed during that 90 days? So I'm not going to buy into the idea that it was the market. Why don't I come by for 15 minutes? I'll take a look at your home and tell you exactly why it didn't sell and what we can do to get it sold this time. Will today or tomorrow at 4 work for you? Okay. For the expired, it's not the market. If they give you the market, no. How many homes sold while they were on the market? How many homes sold in the last 90 days in a 5-mile radius of their house? That's your kicker. If the market was, then all these other homes wouldn't have sold, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. Let's have a real conversation. Make sense? Okay. Don't let them blame the market. I wrote down here number 8, condos. Preferably 1 or 2 bedrooms, condos. Now, here's the kicker on the condo. We're calling condos because they might have some equity to purchase a single family residence, right? You with me? In some areas, prices are softening or going down, right? In some areas, are we seeing that a little bit? Okay. What is really, for a condo to sell their condo and buy a single family residence, what do they need the most in order to make that happen?
Space.
They want space, but in terms of how this can actually be accomplished, what do they need?
Equity.
They need the equity from their condo.
Yes.
They need the equity from their condo. Hey, have you thought about buying a single family? Yes, I have. Can I tell you why now might be the time to do that? Sure. Are you concerned about prices going down? Yes, I am. In order to buy a single family residence, are you using the proceeds from this condo? Yes. If prices go down, what do they lose?
Equity,
Which is what? Which is their what?
equity.
I know, but what is that equity turning into?
The down payment.
The down payment. They lost their down payment. And if they can't have the down payment, they can't get the single family residence. You all with me on this? I'm a
Yes.
condo. I want to sell my condo and buy a single family residence. In order for me to do that, I need to make money on this condo to take this money and use it as the down payment for my larger home. If the price goes down in this area, I lose equity, which means I lose my down payment, which means I can't get that house anymore. So, Mr. and Mrs. Condo owner, let me ask you this. Let's assume that it's a real estate cycle of 4 to 5 years. Are you comfortable being in this condo for 4 to 5 years before maybe the prices come back up? Oh, no, that would be awful. Then we need to do it today. Urgency, urgency, urgency. Does that make sense? Can that work?
Yes.
Feel like I'm just having a coaching call with Tess.
I'm just trying to write fast. Maybe I should get a recorder and record it.
It's being recorded.
I can't get it back time fast.
Being recorded. Okay. But all I'm doing right now, we're going to go down the rest of this list. But do you see, all I'm doing is trying to piece together a deal. Do you see what I'm doing here? Okay. Every source we're going down so far, I'm trying to piece together a deal. That's what we're doing. That's where it's at right now. Okay. Now, you don't have to do all of these. I'm just going down a list of 20 and giving you an idea. All right, number nine, I wrote down 2-story homes bought 20 or more years ago. 2-story homes bought 20 or more years ago. Obviously, we know that most people that buy a 2-story home, it's not their first home. So they're probably in their 40s, 50s, 60s when they bought it. Now it's 20 years later, 60s, 70s, 80s. If they had kids, they're probably moved out, hopefully. And they don't want to go up and down stairs. So now you have an opportunity to call these people and say, wow, what an opportunity you have to sell this house, cash out, and buy something more convenient for you. So get that list, call those people, have that particular conversation. Now, again, it's not just the stairs, it's the total maintenance. It's the whole story. Hey, we're working with a lot of people like yourself who don't need 2 stories anymore, don't need all this square footage, don't want to deal with the maintenance, the water bills, the cleaning bills, all these other different types of things, the electric bills, the insurance. They don't want to deal with all this stuff. So they're taking their equity and downside into something far more comfortable with less hassle. How does that sound? Right? I'm pitching the whole story. Not just the 2-story part, the whole thing. All right, number 10, I wrote down adjustable rate mortgages. Homes with adjustable rate mortgages. Could be a way for you to get a deal this week. An adjustable rate mortgage is for ideally, if you can find out when it's going to adjust and if it's something that's going to adjust in the next year or so. Because interest rates have gone up pretty significantly over the last year or so, correct? So if somebody got an adjustable rate mortgage at 2.5% and it's going to adjust next year, it's probably going to go up 2% because that's usually the cap, which means their interest rate's going to go from 2.5 to 4.5. For some people, if their interest rate jumps up 2%, is that going to cause a financial problem?
Yes.
Yes, it will. And they can't refinance because if they refinance, let's say they were at 2.5 and the rate adjusts to 4.5. Well, if they refinance, what's their rate going to be today? 6?
0.5.
So now you can't refi and get a fixed rate because you're going to be at 6%. So now you just have to let it adjust to go up to 4.5 because that's still going to be lower than a refi rate. And what if they can't afford it? So you could talk to people that have adjustable rate mortgages. I wrote down here next, real-time canceled listings. Real-time canceled listings. We talked about this last week on how to be able to go into the MLS and set up real-time canceled listings. When you get a real-time canceled listing, it has to be in an area that you can go that same day and door knock. Okay, so set up the real-time cancel listings. They just fired their agent. They just got fed up. You could be number one. Everyone's in a race for expired and cancels to be number one. Well, this is really how you be number one. It's not about calling at 6:30 in the morning. It's about being there the day it happens. That's how you're really number one, if we want to get down to it. Set up real-time cancel listings in the MLS and be able to door knock them same day. I wrote down here next, old buyer leads. Find your old buyer leads, because right now, people who wanted to buy in 2020 and 2021 got frustrated, right? They got frustrated, they got annoyed, and some of them got out of the market. Well, is it possible that now is a better opportunity for them? Call them. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, how you doing? Hey, look, I know we were searching for a home in 2020. It was kind of crazy. You got a little frustrated. You know, I just want to let you know that we've now shifted from an emotional buying market to a logical buying market, which has created a great window of opportunity for you. Can I explain? Maybe we can revive the dead, get a buyer lead that's excited today. But Robert, how are they going to be excited about 6% interest rates? Well, what's more important to a buyer, an interest rate or actually getting a house? If the interest rate is the most important thing to them, then who cares? Don't call them. But if you actually want to be a homeowner, if you want to buy a house, who cares? Let's get you into a house. 6% interest rate. You want to be a homeowner? Yeah. Okay. Let's not make a bigger deal out of this. So old buyer leads. I wrote down here, old lender leads. Old lender leads. So you have old buyer leads who couldn't buy a house in 2020 and 2021. So you're going to revive the dead. Go to your lender and say, hey, look, get a list of all the people you pre-approved in the last 3 years. Cross out everyone that bought a house with you. Cross out everyone that was an agent referral, because I'm not trying to steal anyone's stuff. And what are you left with? Well, we got 30 people. Okay, great. Let's you and I together call those 30 people, see if they bought a house. And if they didn't, let's get them pre-approved and let me show them a property. Maybe you can revive some of the dead from the old lender leads. Now, only do the lender leads that were pre-approved, because that means they already took an initial step. They did it once, they're willing to do it again. But you can maybe revive some dead from some old lender leads. I wrote down here next, you want to try to find a lead this week? Go to agents and ask them if there's any leads they don't want to work anymore. Go to agents and ask them if there's any leads they don't want to work anymore. If you think you're too good for that, you have an ego problem. Melinda Elmer, are you there?
Yes.
When you moved here, when you moved to Southern California, was that not one of the ways you started getting your business? Going to agents and asking them if there's any leads they didn't want to work anymore?
I asked every single agent in my office if they had any buyer leads they didn't want to work.
Coincidentally, that's also how I built my business. Was I went to agents in the office and said, hey, are there any leads you don't want to work anymore? Now, typically, you are not getting the A+ leads.
No.
But what you're getting are potentially leads that just need a question answered, that need a little more hand-holding. And most real estate agents, obviously none of you, other agents, aren't very good at holding hands and asking questions. And Melinda obviously built a very successful business. I built a very successful business on simply, that was one of the things, of going to people and just say, look, what leads do you have that you want to work anymore? And a lot of them are crap, but I got to tell you, I converted a number of people. So go to agents, say, what leads don't you want to work anymore? That's a way you can find a deal this week. I wrote down here, contact agents who aren't working and ask them for their database. Well, Robert, how do I find agents that aren't working? They have a license. That's a good start. That's a good start. If you simply ask agents with an active real estate license if they're working or not, you got about an 80% chance they're not. All right, so start there. Hey, I noticed that I noticed that you went back to work as a mechanic. Yeah, well, I'm curious. Hey, look, obviously you're not working your database. Let me work your database. I'll give you a 25% referral fee. And start calling those people. Hey, I know you were talking about retiring or slowing your business down. Yeah. Hey, well, do you mind if I contact your database and, give you a 25% referral fee? Contact agents who aren't working. I wrote down here next, door knock around previews. Door knock around previews, which means you have to preview the home and then go door knock around it. And this is all about just being present. All about being present. There's not a lot of agents that preview homes, number one. So therefore, there's not a lot of, the neighbors are not seeing a lot of agents on the street, which is sad. And then there's not a lot of people doing just listed, just sold calls, which means the neighbors have no idea what's going on with that listing. How do I know? Because I have listings around my block and no one ever contacts me. I'm not the only one. Be the one in the neighborhood. You could get more. I guarantee you, if you preview a listing and then door knock around it, you will get more business than the agent that has the listing. Because all they're going to do is sell the listing. You could get more leads at the moment and build a bigger database. True story. I wrote down here next, ask everyone in your COI for one person to connect to. Ask one person in your COI to connect you to one person, not for a lead, but to connect for COI purposes. Hey, look, I give you a call every couple months. I'm just curious, do you find this information valuable at all? Oh, yeah, we love it. Is there anyone, just one person that you think might be interested in hearing this stuff as well? And then they say, well, I don't know if my brother's on your list. Let me get your brother's number. And I just added a brand new person that has a warm connection who might be looking to do something. So asking everyone in my COI to connect me to one more person. Not only is that a great way to build the database, might help you find a lead this week. I wrote down here next, last couple ones. Whatever market you work, figure out what the average turn time is in that area. What's the average turn time in your market? 17 years, 15 years, 12 years, 25 years. And then I want you to get a list of people that bought their home that many years ago. So here's what I mean. The average turn time in your area is 17 years. Great. I need a list of people that bought their home 17 years ago, 17 or more years ago in my neighborhood or in my city. Get that list and call them, because that could be the next deal. And you want to have a lot, if you want to have a lot of fun with it and you want to kind of make them think a little bit, this is a true story. Let them know that they're at that peak of average turn time. Let me give you an example. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, it's Robert, Century 21 Masters. How you doing? Oh, I'm doing good. Hey, I was giving you a call because I don't know if you know this, but the average turn time in our marketplace, the average time that somebody keeps a home in our marketplace is 17 years. Did you know that? I had no idea. Well, I was calling you because you're at that 17-year mark. So I'm curious, when have you thought about selling your home? Human nature does this. Wait, people leave around this time. Am I doing something wrong? Should I be moving? Should I be selling? Should I be doing something? And maybe they will be. And then I wrote down here next, networking groups. Go to a networking group, a BNI group, a team group, a meetup, some sort of networking group. Now, here's the biggest tip I can give you on networking groups. Ideally, not a group, real estate agents. That's important. So Chamber of Commerce meetings, things along those lines where there's not a bunch of real estate agents. Because they're probably not going to give you business. Questions on what we went over today?
Well, on that last one, networking group, you said something of a group that's not real estate agents, preferably?
Yes. Because what
Okay.
happens is that there's a bunch of networking groups that are like mastermind groups of real estate agents that you get nothing out of. One, because most of them don't know what the hell they're doing. So you get no value from them and specifically. And two, they don't give you any business.
Oh, okay.
So I want to network with a group that has accountants, financial planners, plumbers, home remodelers, hairdressers, anything that's not necessarily real estate related. So Chamber of Commerce meetings, you know, they have a bunch of people that go to those meetings that have a bunch of different professions, BNI, team, all these other meetups, things like that. You can see what kind of professions they might have. And if it's a bunch of real estate people, they're not going to get anything. So figure out what other professions are going to be there.
Okay.
All right, good stuff. Any other questions on what we went over today? All right, so here's my last question. Based on everything I just went over, is it possible to find a deal this week?
Yes.
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 God, oh, the energy is
possible.
through. The energy is through.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yes.
Ah, you are the best. All right, good stuff. All right, well, look, I laid it out there. Okay, you're not going to do all 20. You're not going to do 10. Okay, or maybe you will, but figure out the ones that you can really get after. Okay, find a deal, find a lead, get after it, create that urgency, put the pieces together. That's all I was doing for most of this was get this type, say this, say that, and putting pieces together. That's all we're doing. Cool?
Cool.
All right, very good. All right, everybody. That's all I got.